He says, who cares? Indians, chiefs, Kohanim, Israelim, men, women. Why do we need to make seperations? Moshe answers, Boiker v'yoyde Hashem aser shaloi, gvulos kol hakadosh baruch hu b'vamai, yochel adam lahapach boiker le'erev. The Eibishter made this is a rule that the Eibishter made in nature. So a Sheilos that was asked this week, family simchas, Sheva brachas, only family. We really have to have separate seating. You need a mechitza, do you not need a mechitza? There's a Befedish Bach, a famous Bach, famous. If you're in the Sugi, it's a famous Bach. And there's a lot of talk about this, but I bring here a tshuva which has a liquid of all the main points on the Sugi. In the Sheilos of Tshuvas, Mishnah Alochas, Chelak Yud Beisim and Shimon Beis. Dvar Sheilos. That there's a wedding, that the men and women are sitting together by the food. But for the dancing, they make a mechitza. So the person asked if that could work. Would that be kosher? No way. The person asked the question. Actually, a shliach in France. He asked if he could have that the people will eat together by the meal, and dancing will be a mechitza. In Be'emes Dov is a kosher and addition. In Mevur Bebach, there's a famous Bach, Even the Simchon Beis, Veivia HaBeishmuel, the Beishmuel, which is a commentary. In the Chaim, like the main commentary is the Mogen Avram. In Even the main commentary is the Beishmuel. The Beishmuel brings him a Simchon Yudal, Bezel Hashem. The Korach, Noigem Shebesudash Oise, Belel Shein, Mevorchim Hashem, Bora, Veloisha Simcha Memoyne. Behu Tema, Veloy Matzasi Shum Tam, Leminhogem Zeh. In Krakow, the Bach was a Rav in every main city in Europe. That was his model. He was everywhere. So there's a story about this. There's a story that's told that the Rebbetzin, that in one of the cities, the Balabatim came at night. This is one of my best stories. The Balabatim came at night and they saw there was no light. He says the Rav is sleeping by night. Who needs such a Rav? So they told them that they don't need him anymore. When they left the city, they found out from the Rebbetzin that Bemis he was learning all night. And Rabbi, because of Adiyas and Dachkus, he couldn't afford to have a candle, so he would learn Baal Peh. But the part of the story that I like so much, no, that Nakihilo was like the Rav that sleeps by night.
I told him I was learning, but he didn't answer them.
He didn't answer them. That's the godless of the Bach. But I think there's the godless of the Balabatim.
Oh, that's for other reasons. Go there, check out the light in the study.
That's right.
The light in the pitch, but
they have a story that Rabbi now said. One came in with his wife a lot of years ago. One of the Gorim forced him in his house, and at night they gave him this light lamp next to the chair. In the morning, he sees he's not there. He's not behind. He went into the closet. He didn't want his wife to bother. He's there the whole night in the closet.
beautiful.
Unbelievable.
So the Bach was in Krakow, and he says, I don't understand. It's an old minute. Krakow is here by Yisrael for a long time. He said, I don't see that they make Sheva Brachas, and they don't say Simcha B'Maynai. What's going on? When you make Sheva Brachas, you're supposed to say about the Simcha B'Maynai. Uteima v'lo matzasi shum tam l'minhagim zeh, elo l'fisha suda zeis k'tanehi. L'shivim ba'anoshim v'noshim yachar v'cheder echad. V'gosav v'minhagim dem evorchim shesimcha b'moymne heicha di'ikach shasha di'ruda aveda. He says, I have a reason. It must be that because in Krakow, what's happening? They make a wedding. The wedding, they have a hall, there's a mechitza, and everything is nice. But then comes the Sheva Brachas. Where they make the Sheva Brachas? At home. So you have one room. So the men and women are sitting in the same room. So because the men and women are in the same room, there's a hirur of Aveda because he can look at the women. So there's no simcha b'maynoi, there's no simcha here.
Did they make
They said the Sheva Brachas without saying simcha b'maynoi.
They're admitting that they're fruitless?
Huh?
Were they admitting that the fruitless trying to find the reason?
No, he was trying to find the reason for the admitting that they don't say.
Right, because they're admitting that they're not understanding the things.
Yeah.
That's the way to make a show, brothers. To be the public college understanding.
It's a very good question. It's a very good question. Elamai, I like that question. Elamai. So I think the pshat is that it's not the pshat that they were doing an aveda, it was pritzes. Pritzes man chashmei, the Bach would do zerov. If he thought it was pritzes, he would get up in the base medrash and he would make a big announcement.
It's a aveda. You don't know it's an aveda.
It's a shash. It must be really that we're not sitting men and women together. There was one table the men and one table the women. Right.
No brother.
Right. Unbelievable. Apella Otz. Well, the Fiza Heichel ain't Shamela Nokim, there was only men in the room. Sorry, these are the words of the Bach. And the Beis Shmuel and the Shulchan Aruch brings it Bekitzur. Shanoshim and Noshim B'Cheder Echad. He said men and women in the same room. Ain't einem Shasimcha B'Ma'onish, ain't a Simcha K'Sheyetzahar Shel. If the Yetzahar is in the room, not the Pshat Chatz V'Shon, the Spritzes or Yichud, but the Yetzahar is in the room.
So the people who crack on nobody can break it.
There was a minute was going on for 300 years.
The crack on that shit, not Shah Brachas, Shesh Brachas.
Why?
Hine me vor be Dibra Bach ma Beis Shmuel.
That's what it's called crack up. They cracked the status quo.
Very good. Hine me vor be Dibra Bach ma Beis Shmuel. She'eviu la'aloch ba'achilas anoshim v'noshim b'cheder echad. The Bach was it up there, but the Gedolei Olam then to Rabbanim in Krakow. Gedolei Olam. It's remarkable that today Krakow is a very Jewish neighborhood. Is the most trendy neighborhood in the whole of Krakow. The Jews were kicked out of the center of the city. So they went and they built themselves a neighborhood which was gorgeous. Marsov father was a builder. The first thing is he built the base medrash, and behind the base medrash he made a huge lot for a cemetery.
The famous story.
The Krakow.
They know where it is. They know where it is.
Yeah, it's in front of. They say it's in front of the shul. There's a
gate around.
There's a gate. What is it? It's like a little. You don't know. There's no plaque about the story. It's a fetish of Shmuels, and I know.
But the guy did build a disco over there.
No way. They have a certain thing for Jews. That even though they have Sinas Yisrael, but they have like.
That?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. There's a bank there, and on top of the bank, there's a place they keep a fire. There's a whole story about the Megala Mukas. That was in the middle of the night, and then the owner came to light the fire for him, and he should be able to continue learning.
You know that story.
Right. And Ada Yoim, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
The Goyim keep that fire. Ada Yoim.
Maybe they're scared to take it out.
Mixture of both. It's a mixture of both.
Hine mevor mit Dibra Rabbeinu Habach va Beis Shmuel she'eviu la'aloch ba'achilas anoshim v'noshim b'cheder echad v'mokum she'yetzahar shel shamei mavorich v'shamas. Men and women are sitting in the same room. The Yetzahar is in the room. So there's no, you can't make the zimun with simcha b'mayne. You can't say a simcha b'mayne. Parsha tu k'shein mechitza b'neim. Obviously, the Bach was talking about there was no mechitza. Ni yesh mechitza in zacheder echad. Elokim shelo yiraksu v'ketana v'lo yirbeim achas. Ekilu la'atz v'lo yish mecheder echad. V'mistam shelo yisham rak v'kroiba. V'yoytze b'zeh probably says it's like wait shuri kol v'sheva brachas. For usually the very close people. V'kol mokum koru mokum she'yetzahar shelo. Here you can read it in Vaita in the inside. This is a story I've heard many times, but it's cute. He brings it in the Struva. Rabbi Yoel Yan, they had Talmud Yeshiva, and he had non-religious relatives. They're having a chasna without a mechitza. So he told Rabbi Yoel that he's planning to go, but he said, "Don't worry, his Shemitah Seinayim is great." So Rabbi Yoel said, "I want to know your name and your mother's name." He said, "Why?" So he says, "You're sick. I want to daven for you." He says, "Sick? Well, I'm not sick. I'm healthy." He said, "I'm 86 years old and I want to have mine. And when I go in the street, I tremble because of the issue of Shemitah Zainayim. You're telling me you're going to a wedding, the men and women are dancing together, and you have no issue. You're sick."
Wow.
I want to say Tillim for you.
I had Gilly Eliyahu.
He was Eliyahu.
No, but yeah, Gilly Eliyahu. He went to once to the Svasanas for a brother. And his wife was sick. My brother, someone else
Wow. So it's a cute story, but so Ivra says next paragraph. the Shuvri Isi b'Sefer Chassidim, I found the source of the Bach, which is really a Sefer Chassidim. Simon Shinsav the Gimel Shadibur Abrach Shehevim Minhagim Morvur b'Sefer Chassidim. The words of the Bach he says from Minhagim. Which Minhagim? It's really Sefer Chassidim. V'Zel Shoyne. When you make the you have to know if it has to be Gilu Simcha Ber'odam Yireh Shamayim. If the wedding is a woman which is not a kosher woman, if men and women are sitting mixed together, it's not shaykh to make Simcha B'moinoi. Okay, remember we shafti v'seid mesachkim k'chol shulchanas malakitza v'lemakam v'la'ava shmoya v'yesh peritzim v'ein yochlis below hirur v'ein yochlis liris menashim. If it's words, he knows that he's going to have hiruri aveda. Before he was talking about a person, he's not going to have hiruri aveda. He's not going to look at the women. It's not an issue to him. The women are not an issue to him. But the fact is that men and women are mixed. Don't say simcha b'moinoi.
He doesn't even talk to his wife.
Well, that guy should go to the Leo and give his name as God's name. That person is the most dangerous person in the world. If he can't be without Hiruri Aveda, any Yochalis leaders Benoshim, if he can't stop himself from looking at the women, Al Yisham, he shouldn't go to the wedding. This is Sefer Chassidim.
Who's writing all this?
This is a tshuva from the Menashe Klein. The reason I bring this tshuva is he's quoting all the main points, plus the story of Elio Lavda. We see that the words of the Bach are really from the Sefer Chassidim. Many places can bring it. They don't bring the last words. They said that if you can't hold yourself back from seeing the women and having hiruri v'aveda, then don't go to the wedding. Okay? He says it's also to go to this chasna. I don't know why you have to even without hiruri. That's not what the Sefer Chassidim says. I don't know.
Well, Stakus is also answered.
He says, he says, it's also Bistaklus Benoshim, not Mitzad the Hiruri Aveda. Ulav Mefurish Batoirim, the Shmarta Mechol Dover Ra, Vidorshu, the Gemara Vedazora Davchoch, the Laistakul Hod, the Pnuya Noah, or Be'eshes is a Pila Mukhwedes. If she's a Pnuya, she's pretty, he's not allowed to look. If she's ugly, he's allowed to look. Be'eshes is, even if she's an ugly woman, he's
Rabbi, a lot of weddings nowadays, they have 3 or 4 tables.
Yeah.
Put them in the corner.
Yeah.
For a few seconds.
I guess every kehillah has to talk to their rabbonim and figure out. I'll talk about this in a minute. The early years, the Rebbe made a huge thing out of this. That chasnas, in those days, it was a big nisoyan for chasnas to be with a real mechitza, like, not just a mechitza. I don't know.
Well, that's where they got it. It's
No.
Okay. So just finish it. So the Gemara says, "Lo yistakel adam b'pnuya noah v'eishes is afilu mucheres v'kosher b'toysus v'droshim v'mura v'lasmachta." The Toysus says it's not a smachta; it's a diminator. So I'm not sure why he says it's also to be if a person knows he's not going to look at the women. So why can't he be? But that's not what sounds from Sefer Chassidim. It sounds from Sefer Chassidim that only if he is not shaykh, there will be no heater. Or I guess that's a mitzvah. Men and women are sitting together when he's not going to see them. He obviously is going to see. So it's also lo yistakel adam b'pnuya noah v'eishes is afilu mucheres v'kam avor the gam b'sheva bracha shoyis v'sudat dana v'nosh kosher ma'ad v'kol mokem. That the bottom line is you must have a mechitza. That's the shit of the Menashe Klein. From this whole thing he takes out that you must have a mechitza even by a sheva brachas, and if not, you're not allowed to say a simcha b'moina. However, not everyone agrees with him. Going back already to the Shulchan Aruch, the Lavush, there was Malamed Zchus Minig Yisrael, and he writes like this. Today, I'm old, women were always at home. Women were home, they hardly went out. So it was a davar chidush if a woman came out. So it was, they didn't see women all the time. Recently passed away a shlucha in Eretz Yisrael. She was the youngest daughter of the Baba Sali, and she was a shlucha. She passed away. She was, and they said that she was mamish the right hand of her father. She took care of her father's whole life. Yes, he wanted a chosen. He wanted a Yerushalayim chosen. He wanted a chosen that from yeshiva where they don't touch the beard. So they went to Lubavitch Yeshiva, and the Rosh Yeshiva's picked his bochis. There was a big Talmud Chochem in Yerushalayim, and Baba Sali was also Moroccan. And he was also Moroccan. So he comes, he says he met the Baba Sali. Baba Sali says like this. First he kisses the Baba Sali's hand. Baba Sali says, "What's your name? What's your father and mother's name? Which city are you from?" Morocco. Give me your hand. He looked for a long time in his hand. Calls his wife. He says, "Please set the table. Please set the table." After they set the table, they already sat down for the board. That's when he met the Kala.
Wow. You didn't know the story?
They said
They want to know about his daughter. 3 names he said in or something, and then it was circle one of the names. He counted the guy's door 40.
No. The Shvedet geguckt in the hand, Marsov gewöhnt.
Doesn't he also look at his forehead?
No, that's what he said. The Shvedet looked at his hand. I mean, I guess before you go.
Usually is known, you look in the head here, but he can see the.
Oh, but he was wearing his head like this.
Yeah. I said a story one time when they looked here.
And you know what? And you know, she was a shlucha, and they said about her, they said that she was, even though she was a shlucha, she was very cold for that the event should be done in her house. She would have huge amounts of people in her house. She did many events, and she would cook and bake and speak. But she was very, very makbid, never to go out of her house. She was pasha cold for the bas malach pnima. And
She was young?
that was.
How old was she?
Yeah, she was not that old. She's the youngest. She was the youngest daughter.
Yeah.
She was the youngest daughter, the third wife. Third wife. She was the youngest daughter. So Amolik Hatzai, women Taka were very, very nizir, and it was an unusual thing to see a woman. She says Lavush that today, unfortunately, the women are more seen among the men. The dominant like a kaki chivri. It sounds like a word in Russian.
Yeah.
The Brahmana says in Barach is a story of Gidel. Gidel would sit outside the mikveh, so the women could look at him when they go out of the mikveh and they'd have beautiful children. So they this is also the Rabbi. Same story about Rabbi.
Exactly.
Rabbi Mazaka, yeah, because he was very beautiful, like Yaakov Avinu.
Children like him.
Right. So the Gemara asked him Gidel. Obviously, that must have been Yaakov Avinu's too. It must have been Pnimius. That's why it was Nimshah. But the Rabbeim Taka say that a person that's Nizar and Taz Mishpocha, that the children will be beautiful children because the Ruchnis will be beautiful and come out the Gashmias. So the Gemara asked, how could a Gidel do such a thing? So Reb Gidel said to me, the women that walk out of the mikveh kekaki chivra like white ducks. In other words, he has no Yehuda Aveda.
He doesn't look at them like even it's not even women.
They're nothing like ducks, like white ducks. So the Levush says, he didn't say I'm not looking like it. Somebody answered. He said, Domino like a kaki chivri. They looked to me, this is the Gemara Baruch from Dal. Huh? Could be the Yochanan a different husband. I don't know.
This is the right that women don't crack a lot.
Huh? Reb Gidel said this. Reb Gidel said, Domino like a kaki chivri. So the Levush says that's the het of Bisman Hazeh because women anyway are going out a lot. So it's not, it doesn't make Yehudi Aveda to the men. So now turn the page, there's a long letter from the Rebbe. This is an important letter that the Rebbe wrote over the years to Vices of the Lubavitcher family. The Rebbe found out that there's going to be, that the chassan is going to be, with the eating part, is going to be without a mechitza. The Rebbe was really upset that he gave a broche for this chassan and kala. And now the Rebbe wrote to them, I guess, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I just want to point something out. A long letter, the Rebbe, the Nakud is like this. The Bach Paskins, that when there is mixing of men and women, you can't say Simcha b'moyne. Which Simcha are we talking about? The Simcha of the Shechina. The Eibush is Simcha. What kind of Simcha? Now, your children are putting the foundation for their whole life at this wedding. Do you want to take the responsibility to take away the Simchas Hashchina to be present at their wedding, which is going to give a bracha for their entire life? Why? Because society is because it's in vogue that weddings are done without a mechitza. Adarabba, show the whole world, make a mechitza, and there'll be a huge bracha for your children. Then at B'shulei Agilion, the Rebbe adds, the Rebbe says that there is a lavush. How do I know this lavush? This lavush is in the Likutim at the end of Korach. It's only because in the Rebbe letter he brings this. He says there is a lavush that says there's a kula because of kaki chivri. The Rebbe says these words. B'avoyneseinu harabim, 3 lines from the top. B'avoyneseinu harabim roim asher la'esan ato ein adover kach. The Rebbe says it very edel way. We see that la'es ato, the reality is
not white.
It's
We
not
don't see
word.
them as white ducks.
it's not white ducks. La'es
Black
ato.
swans.
I don't know, ducks, but I don't know what color.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the Rebbe said. Okay, very very important.
The Rebbe wouldn't say that you still don't make the true son. Wait. No, I'm saying that the Rebbe still
The
would
Rebbe-
say.
Okay, so let me tell you what I think. I think the Rebbe would say if a wedding is taka mixed, and they shouldn't say Simcha Moed.
Not?
I would say yeah.
Sheva
That's-
Brachas, yes.
But a Sheva Brachas, you have to realize the deal Kalashinas. The in the Sefer Chassidim it says that you shouldn't say Simcha, which is a source, when men and women are sitting mixed. Noshim Ayoshim Beina Noshim. Now, the Bach was saying a limit schus. Why is it that in Krakow they don't say a Simcha Moed? Other Achronim say different limit schus. Maybe a Simcha Moed is only the first night. But he said a limit schus. That because the men and women are sitting in the same room. But it could be that they were sitting in the same room and very close together. So Lamaisa, I would say
Then Hashim can be ushered around the same
No.
table.
no. The Sefer Chassidim says Noshim ben Anoshim, which mamish means that they're sitting at the same table. But even the Bach says they're sitting b'cheder echad. But you don't know exactly how in Krakow it was. Could be the cheder was quite small.
Also,
Lamaisa.
we also know in Krakow they didn't have too many candles. So it could be it was a candle lit.
Wow.
Candle lit Sheva Brachas. You couldn't even see the guy next to them.
Very romantic.
White ducks.
So B'meila,
No ducks.
Lamaisa.
Ducks? I don't see ducks.
Lamaisa, I would say that obviously the chasana, we know that the Rebbe wanted there should be a big mechitza, a mile of a ish, and it's not a joke. But when it comes to the Sheva Brachas, usually the Sheva Brachas, as it's called today, is the Mishpocha. Whichever Mishpocha makes the Sheva Brachas, it's that Mishpocha that's there.
I don't know if they get
And
the
then-
response of the wedding. So.
And then who else comes from the others, from the say the Kala side is making a Sheva Bracha. So the Chosin's parents, maybe 2-3 cousins, but Be'emes it's Mishpocha. Be'emes it's Mishpocha. I think it's good enough that
You don't say
the men are at a separate table and the women are at a separate table. Then it's bevadai, not an issue. But recently I was in Eretz Yisrael. It was in the winter. It was a family event. Mamish family, first cousins. It was in Barak. So it was there was the first yahrzeit of my uncle. Zechron Levarach.
Delano?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was his first yahrzeit. He was young, but first of all, he's not that young. He was 8 years old. He was born in Russia. He was born in Klivovich. He was born in Klivovich. He remembered Klivovich as a little child. But 80 is not that old, and he was a Gaon also. He was a Bokeh B'Shas, Mamish, and he was unfortunately passed away 80 years old. And the first yahrzeit, I went with. Anyway, we're going to Eretz Yisrael, so we went to Taka at the time of his yahrzeit. So we come into the hall. I couldn't believe it. The first cousin, there was a mechitza, lamayla mikoymas ish, and there was a separate entrance for men and a separate entrance for women.
But it was in a shul, wasn't it?
No, it was in the hall.
That's how it's done.
That's how it's
Also, Chabad today, the Chassanot, you have one hall for men, one hall for women.
He's also
Yeah.
wasn't he Rabbi? He's Rabbi Leah's son.
His son.
Look,
His
his
son.
son.
His son.
And the women can see the
Yeah.
TV, we have a big screen. He's a Rav making himself.
Right. So, okay.
Look, everywhere.
Huh?
Stop eating. Like going to a speech or something.
Right. We're talking about eating. Because eating is the gedola lekima shemekareves. When a person sits down to eat, that's why the Rambam says that in the time of the Yom Tovim, when people sit and eat and drink, that Bezdin used to send guards to make sure that there isn't anywhere beganas and pardesim, that there aren't any men and women sitting together. Why only the ganas and pardesim? It's a good mood. They're going out. There's a picnic. They're sitting out. They're putting out a table in the park, and men and women are together. That there was. So we see the circumstances make a difference. So Machlokas by Asuda there's a thing. Okay. Next. So Korach is wrong. It's not true that the men, the women, the Kohanim, the Levim, the Yisraelim, the Indians, the Trif, the Eibishter made that there should be gulas, and Dafke the Mechitza is what makes that later there should be the strongest kiddush between families. That ever at the end of the letter writes that we know that there are many weddings taken without mechitzas, but we know Rahman al-Islam the results of what happens when there isn't a proper separation for men and women. Rahman al-Islam, it's not always very pleasant. So L'chatchila, Klal Yisrael should make gedorim, and then you have a lot of nachas afterwards.
Rabbi, I have a question on Moshe Rabbeinu.
Yeah.
When Korach came over, Lanu Anoshim, and what Moshe answer? You see, in the morning, what Hashem did. Why didn't you say right away the answer? Why do you have to wait till the morning?
But that was the answer. He said, Boike v'yoyda, just like the Eibishter said, there's a difference between night and day. We have to have a mechitza. It's the same thing. There has to be a mechitza between men and women, and then Jewish families will be beautiful families. There has to be a mechitza between Kohanim and Levim, and then the Kohanim will do their job good in Levim, and there has to be a mechitza.
But why Boker? Why not right away?
That's what it means. That means right away. That was his answer. It wasn't Boike meant, according to Rashi. That was his answer. Just like the Eibishter made a gvul between Erev and Boiker, you can't destroy this Havdalah. You can't destroy it. You say everyone call Kedoshim. Why get the men sit with the women? Why get the Kohanim and the Levim? Because it's not good for the Kohanim, it's not good for the Levim, it's not good for the men, it's not good for the women. Moshe got really angry. He said to Eibishter, please don't look at their mincha. Shaila that came up when the Bochim were here. They were talking about going to yeshivas and talking about afotas and mayonas. At which point do you say that sometimes you can go to a place and they start making litzonos, making jokes of the Baal Shem Tov, of Toras and Chassidus? At which point do you say that this is not a place I should go and talk about? Right. So should I go to the Bochim here wanted to go to yeshivas and talk to Bochim about Chassidus? And I said that I'm not sure it's a good idea, because he'll come there and he'll turn into a scene and they'll make litzonos. And I'm not sure it's kedai. So I want to show you something in it. Eli, in the side of my standard there's a safe. Can you bring it to me? Thank you so much. I want to show you something. I couldn't believe it, but it's a murderdik thing. Meforshim ask a question. The Meforshim ask a question. Yeah. Thank you so much. The Meforshim ask a question. It's unbelievable. It's brought in the Yalkut Ma'moyas, but he brings it from the Al-Shech Shach Chai. Moshe Rabbeinu is Moshe Nefesh for all the time. If you're not going to save the Jews, erase me from your safe. All of a sudden, the story with Korach. It's a different Moshe Rabbeinu. It's like he took it personally. I'll take it on Mechosa. The earth will open up its mouth. What happened? As if all of a sudden Moshe took it personally.
He wanted to teach for generation they will have severe punishment, for we know every generation that the leader has to respect and has to listen to.
That's a nice
Pshat. This is Pshat.
They'll tell you a different Pshat. The Pshat, it's a Pshat. The Moiridik Pshat. The Al-Shech says like this. There was a doctor. The patient came in, and the hand, the Moshe Al-Shech, right? The Zohar, the Drush. So he came in. The doctor saw that there was such poison, and if you would let him stay that way for a little longer, the poison will go into the rest of the body. The person's going to die. So the doctor is very kind, and immediately convinces the person to agree to an amputation. Now, the doctor is a kind or a cruel doctor? The person came in with two hands. He walks out with one. Looks like a cruel doctor for someone that's standing outside. But someone that really knows, the doctor was a very kind doctor, because he knew that the chas v'sholom, the poison will spread to the body and there's nothing to do and he'll die. Same thing here. Moshe Rabbeinu saw that Korach is not just quacking. He already got 250 people Rosh Hashanah inside. and the venom is spreading quickly. And Rachmana litzlan, the whole of Klal Yisrael will get dragged into this one way or another. It's contagious. Very good. It's contagious.
It just happened
He had no
2 days ago,
war.
the miracle.
Yeah. So therefore he said, better that Rachmana litzlan, these 250 people should go away, but Rachmana litzlan, they'll be amputated, but the Klal Yisrael should be saved. I wanted to share with you a sikha. I couldn't believe it. But the sikha, it's a sikha. It was Tavshim Mem-Hey. There was a lot going on. That year, a story with Rabbi Vechter. Yeah. But that year, the Rebbe started a campaign, Tavshim Mem-Dalet, that every year you should learn Rambam. It's like a mitzvah to learn Kol HaTorah Kula. You learn Rambam. There's 2 tracks. One, you finish the whole Rambam in 3 years, or once a year, 3 brokim a day. You don't have to learn the Parsha. Just learn Rambam Parsha. You learn Kol HaTorah Kula. You learn the Kol HaTorah Kula. At first, there was a lot of people that are making litzonis from it. Rachmana litzlan. It was funny because I was in Yeshiva Chaim Berlin, and I was walking up the steps one day, and I bumped into Rosh Yeshiva. So he said, "What are you learning right now?" So I was like, on the spirit of, I was in the middle of learning the 3 brokim of Rambam. I stopped for a minute, but I had to continue. But I was in my mind, I was in the 3 brokim. So I said, I'm learning now the Shir Rambam Ayomi. So after I said it, I said, He's
not going to make this on this.
No, he didn't. He said, He says, I can't have any tightness. For the Takona, the Rambam, I can't say anything. I said it's not bad. So I said, I wanted to mention to the Rosh Yeshiva that this is not Stam Limud, but this helps me in all the other Limudim, because throughout the year I do Chazorah on Baba Kamalum and Tzia Baba Basar Sanhedrin, because I learned Sefer Nezikin, Mishnayis Taharas, I get a Chazorah and Sefer Tahara, and it just gives me a refresher. Kol HaTorah Kula. He smiled, that was it.
Did you ask what he was learning?
No.
It's a chutzpah. It's a chutzpah.
Talmud Chaver. He's a Talmud Chaver.
But that year, I can't believe it, but the Vice News, there was a certain newspaper, they were writing articles, with the Siyam Rambam, they called it the festival, the Malach festival.
Right, except that the Chidusha Ariv's animal was there, and the Visions of the Rebbe is there. But
They
the
didn't care, they called, and then
festival.
the Rebbe said, the Rebbe at the Fabrengen, at the end of the Fabrengen of Shavuos, Tavshim Mem-Hey spoke about it. The Rebbe said like this: I want to make something clear that no one should go into disputations and make arguments with these people that are writing these articles. Loy mehem v'loy ma'amoyno. The Rebbe said that the Hayitochen, the Rayid, that was saved from the Nazis, Yimach Shemam Zichron, and could say things that are worse than Nazis and Yevsetsky would say, to make Latzonis from learning Rambam. So the Rebbe says the only thing is that we see that unfortunately these Yidden already cut off the payas and the beard of all the Yidden. So the Rebbe said that I don't want anyone, I guess from my Chassidim, to talk to them about this. If they could say that Torahs and the Shtakta Torahs of Hashem, or the Divrei Admoira Zokin and the Svarim is for Anshe Shtemenu, this is Divrei Sheker. So therefore, I don't want people to talk to them. The Rebbe said like this: I ainly konas labotik nesiya shlehem. Why? Benidin zel shayach inyan the avas Yisrael ba'achtas Yisrael sharehu diyu v'chrizu befeidish shaknis labotik nesiya shlehem yesh b'mishum sakonas nefoshes mamas ad kedei kach shleistakyu lu'biyum belvad elaher shoysen came bepoyo Rachmana litzlan.
That's tough.
Vein kan lachzer al advorim mele ma'isem shos Yehudim heim l'chrotzen HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mekiven shekein lepela sheyeshtem keilo shechoshim she'en lischashem b'sakona shebedover v'tzirichem b'chol zoyis lalechaz gam eleim lo yisholchim shluchim af echad lemotum shel sakona gashmis pshutim v'negei lepoyo lo yisasku imam klal uklal uklal lo yimna lo yimam kvikuchim klal uklal uklal lo yimhem v'lo yim'amoynim. Then the Rebbe finishes off such sharp things. At the time at Voida, the Ramak says that a person should always be margal, that he should have Abba, people in his heart. Even it's a Shoyim, it's if it's his brother, the Rosh is his brother, and he had more love to the Rosh than to his brother.
Wow.
But Lamaisa, the Rebbe reiterated that V'anachnu b'shem Eloheinu nidgel, v'techsimcha b'tov leiva, v'tochen, v'avtocha sheyach chesidim al yoyna, and but however, not to go into disputations and not to try to. So it's an interesting thing to see that the Rebbe wanted so much it should be Avot Samayonas Torah of Hashem. But it was a place that there is going to be a bizoyan to the Torah of Hashem and a bizoyan to Torah Sasoid, and the Rebbe said no, don't go there.
So this is only on the Rambam. It's on those.
No,
but anything.
It started off because
they have today in the yeshivas, only the yeshivas where they made fun, very successful Tanya campaign, etc.
It's done in a way. It's done. It has to be done in a way where it's not. It has to be done. A lot of things change. A lot of things change.
In Israel, what Stein's that's Jewish.
Ponovich, 50 Ponovich learning how you must pay.
You said no business.
The argument, you see the test over there.
Okay, I'm telling you, Ponovich did 50. Told me, this is going back 10 years ago. The guys that walk in every Shabbos, so they all go on and become shluchim. They become shluchim. One of them I was very close to. He told me that he has a big ruler now in Bnei Brak, and 50 of his best, the best mark come from Ponovich.
The Rebbe never wanted to say any names because the Rebbe never wanted to be chas v'sholom.
I didn't say that. I meant the yeshiva on the hill. I made a mistake.
Where is Faz you're talking about?
Yeah, it's Faz.
Hundreds of thousands of bacham.
Let's go to the third Nakuda here.
You know better than me.
Oh, I was thinking about this. That this is different.
We have a lot of titles for this video, by the way.
We
can give like 20 titles. They don't make 20 different ones.
Recently there was a story. There was a Lubavitcher Chossid. He asked the person, "You want to put on film?" It was at Ben Gurion Airport, and the person was behaved slave. He rolled up his sleeve, and all of a sudden a woman came screaming like a lunatic. Turns out she's a professor.
Famous one. Famous professor.
Guy Weintraub wrote articles in the COL. He said it's like the life of Yochanan. The Shem Shemayim, because it's called a bird, professor. The next morning, hundreds of human frogs will
Thank you.
It was good publicity. It wasn't bad publicity.
Little did she know she should have shut her big mouth shut.
This story was.
That's a real white duck, by the way.
She will know what she's going to do.
She's a white duck now. She's not a black duck. White.
Beautiful.
No, you have to understand. This is said to extreme case where there's a sakona, where there's an extreme level of letzonis chas v'sholom. But obviously, usually it has to be aliyevish b'nei malikim. This guy did the right thing. He did the right thing, and you see the results were that more you can put on film. And the person himself who put on film later went and defended he said, "What do you mean? This guy didn't force me, he didn't hurt me. He came and he asked me in a nice way, and I really felt very good about it." The person himself wrote later a comment about this.
Rabbi Grossman go to the disco. Everybody look at him like it's crazy, and they do a lot of care.
That's why they call it disco Rebbe.
But it's beautiful how he has the guts. You can go to the disco and everybody dancing and come.
I heard a story. This disco Rebbe, a famous story. He comes to the disco and he asks the guy, "Drunk, he says, at least once, don't you call it Torah, just once." He says, "I'm not drunk, listen, you bring me a Jaguar."
Right.
5 minutes later, Rabbi with his face,
That's the way it is.
It became about children.
Okay, the third Shaila. When it's hot in a minute, Trumas Hashem La'aron HaKoyin, sagt die Gemara, V'charen Kaim, V'aloi Nichnas Eretz Yisrael. Sagt die Gemara, Zan Hedin U'alamich, Osan Lichius. Yisrael leisten like Truma, Mekan, that Chitz HaMeisa Min HaToyre. It says you're going to give the Truma to Aaron HaKoyin. Aaron HaKoyin never went into Eretz Yisrael. So the Eibush, the Rebbeinu, Chaz V'Sholom made a mistake in the Torah. Elamai, no, Aaron is going to have Chitz HaMeisa, and that's when we're going to give Aaron the Truma. A Shaila someone asked recently, we always machab the coin. It says the Kiddush, the first Aliyah, the first this. And if the right benching, we say Bereshus HaKoyin, it has to be Taka Bereshus. Why is it when we make the first bracha, the challah, you make at home, you make a mitzvah, you ever think to be machab the coin that might be at the table? So someone asked me the Shaila. There's an answer in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. Tshuva. The Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch writes, B'nei Chabur Shem V'neim Balabais Shulchan Balabatim Godel B'chach B'Shemehem V'hu HaBetzeiah B'Shem Kvoidek. Whoever is the Godel, he's the biggest Talmud Chacham, he makes the bracha. Oh, one is a kohen. They're all balabatim. Three people.
There's no balabas.
Right, three balabatim. They went to a restaurant together. Three families. 3 men are in a restaurant together. So B'meila, the kohen should make the bracha and the challah. On that point, kohen ha'aretz, tamat chochem, kohen ha'loy, also chochem lagdom ha'aretz, l'chorem derech ha'kepet t'kunel, okay, moichlem, and as rishus l'chorem 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 K'moish is born, and he could, the tamat chochem could be moichel to the kohen, but not as, because of the din of mishpat kuna, but because he wants, it should be nice, the whole thing, who's the kohen. So he wants to, v'ima kohen gamke tamat chochem, el yisrael gadolmen, and toiv lagdim al kohen. If the kohen is also tamat chochem, then for sure he should go he should go first. Maybe chiyuv b'dover. But if you're makdam the kohen, even though he's a smaller tamat chochem, marich yomim. Yes, b'nei balabayis ukohen. But if there's one person, he is the balabayis, not 3 people at a restaurant. There's a balabayis in the house. Who koydim afilu l'kohen tamat chochem? Why? Because we know that the owner, he's going to give big portions.
Wow.
The shenk in the coin, he's a oirach, he might not give a big portion because he doesn't know.
Or he's embarrassed.
Right. The coin is moichel because he knows that the balabais will give bigger portions.
There's another reason why. Why do you have to come to that? What? It's not his house. You can't. It doesn't mean the coin. If the coin is not the coin. Yeah, here's the keys to my house.
You're onto something. Go weiter. Afim einoi moicheloi. Einoi k'dim b'btzia neged balabais. Sharei biyad balabais shaloi litem loyachel klal. Shein zem mishpatei hakuna la'achila b'chinam. There's Tchov Dalet Matnas Kuna in this week's Parsha. If there isn't, but Stam, and you have to give him breakfast, lunch, and supper, Lavdafka. Now this Balabayas is having Suda Shabbos, and he invited a Mishpachah. And this is a Mishpachah Kohenim, or an individual, and he's a Kohen. So if it's something which you're anyway doing, you have to read the Torah. Or you already ate, now you already have to bench. Now it's not an option. It's not an option. You can't say, forget it, no benching today. No benching today. You have to bench. But before the Suda, the person says, okay, forget about it. I'm tired. No Suda Shabbos. I'm going to sleep. That he could do, right? Not nice to do that, but he could do that.
But why are favors? They have other families, other men. Give them 2 chalot. You make your own hamot. You make your own.
That's a good question. But let's do that another time. You're asking a good question. I just want to finish this. So that's the difference. In general, if you want to give the covenant to someone bigger than you always could do. Interesting thing. For the same logic. So why should the chosen that cut the challah and he make the bracha?
Like this Rosh Hashiva.
How to say? He could come in the morning and say, okay, brook engagement, ois chasna. There'd be no chasna. Hey, so the whole suit is for the chasna. So there, en kedima negdei l'shum adam. So that's the answer. Taka by Bechas HaMazon where there's already a chiyu. So you have to. Taka there's a mila. But you have to, if there's a coin in the house, if you're not going to give it to the coin, you have to ask rishus from the coin. There's more pratim, and we'll get to it another time. Maybe the oirach sometimes, if the balabayas is the coin, you can give it to the oirach because there's a special thing for the oirach to give a bracha to the balabayas. But we'll go into it another time. But right, which we don't have the minig in the Sheilos. Why? Anyway, by bracha rishoina, there is an interesting svara here. Over here, there's not shaykh the chibadatoy, the kiddashtoy. Therefore, that's taka minig Yisrael that the balabayis makes hamoitze lechem in the oretz, even if there is a kohen in the house.
Is it done with like he's like the chosen?
Yeah,
it's the king. He's the king.
He's the king.
So then l'chayri should be the same as benching.
No.
Why
benching? Because by benching, ein biyada l'choisen. Not what to say is the king. The chosen can call off the chasna. But once the chasna already went on, the chosen can't say, okay.
Also, for benching, he's not marked.
Yeah, for benching, he has no there. For benching, now.
Oh, he could say, you know what? I want to be mamshuk, get out of my house. He could do that. So you know what? I'm not ready yet for a zimun. I don't want a zimun. I don't want you around.
Wait.
No, I don't want you sitting in my house. You can say, then go out. But then he'd be being doicha a zimmer, which you can't still eat.
Yeah, it's called shemayim. Okay, since we're already on it, I before I came to Beis Menachem Mendel, I went to Bigelize and I asked him for a sefer emphasis on droshes. He sold me 5 svarim, beautiful svarim. Forgot the name, but 5 svarim. He says, "What about him love?" Over 10 years I'm here, I could never squeeze one drosh out of it. It's all Litvish and Toydas. There's nothing there. I could not get $1 worth of it. But the health of the Eibush there, last night I opened the sefer. I said maybe something for the Shia today would be good. Taco, something beautiful. There's they bring there was it's not drosha material. You'd come to Beis Menachem and want to hear Geschmack of art. What I'm going to tell you now is nice, but not when a Yid comes to hear Shabbos and inspiration to come tell his family. There was once a letter that was written from that Eliyahu David the Rabinowitz time in Daderes to his friend Reb Chaim Berlin. And Meisters, that letter created a firestorm. He wrote in this letter, there's a Gemara that's the basis for this din of the Alter Rebbe Korach, that Reb Zayda was sick, and then a Bo came to visit him, and they made a Suda Seidah, and he asked Reb Zayda to make the bracha on the bread. So Reb Zayda said to Reb Abba, "You're the balabais." He made the Suda. He said, "You're the balabais. You have to make the bracha." So they asked the Aderes, but wait a minute. Why doesn't the Gemara mention a thing about the fact that Reb Zayda was a kohen? The Gemara ignores it. How come the Gemara doesn't mention it? I understand the Sheilos so much. I know, but that's the mitzvah. I understand.
Right.
I don't know why, but he asked the Sheilos. But he can listen to his tenets. So he said, "Lord, this Parsha, the Gemara says in Megillah, Dav Zayin, that Reb Zayda had a Sudas Purim. Come Rava v'shachta Reb Zayda." So this story after the Tchias HaMesim. So because he already killed him, when he made Tchias HaMesim, he had Pokem in Din Kuhuna. He wasn't a Kohen anymore. So Reb Chaim Berlin wrote back. He said, "I can't believe you wrote such a pshat." Look at the last paragraph, 3 lines on the top. Schoik osli my losai. Yan loy uchel lahamin shenema nela mimenu gemara mefureshes she'osid lichias v'yisrael noisnim loy teruma. I can't believe it. You're making a joke here. There's a Mefedish Gemara that says when Adam is going to wake up at Tchias HaMesim, we're going to give him Truma Mekan Tchias HaMesim in a Torah.
You can't become honest guy, you say.
Again, I don't know. I don't understand what that Aderes question was to begin with.
Right.
But I just want to talk about the tenets. That Chaim Berlin asked him, what kind of tenets is this? So the kid said there's a lot about this, but in this sefer they bring that someone brought a moira de tenets for this. The Gemara says in Yuma, why isn't the Geir to know what happened in the Yimei HaMiluyim? The Torah tells us in such detail what happened in the Yimei HaMiluyim. So the Gemara says it'll be Negea because when there'll be Tchias HaMesim, we're going to do again the Miluyim for Aaron and for his children. So then we have to know how to do the Miluyim. So the Ramban says a moira de Galoshin of that Gemara. It's in Yuma Davei. L'Tchias HaMesim iskach Aaron avona v'yu anoshim mechudoshim v'yitztarchu liskadesh keberishoyna v'yu Miluyim ha'ela noigim v'hem. After Tchias HaMesim, they're going to have a new anointment as Koyanim. And therefore, we're going to have again the Yemei HaMiluyim.
But they're still Kahanim. But they're still Kahanim. In other words, not anointing Levim or Yisrael.
Right. Only these
that proves that they never were Ois Kahanim. Just they need a new Hamshachah.
Okay, so it could be that Dennis was onto something.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. That's why. That's what the Avamina was.
Right.
Maybe they're not Kahanim.
Exactly. There is something to it.
Epis felt Epis, and
right.
No, the answer is no.
Epis felt.
Right.
Okay. And then one more thing. The Chassam Sofer has in Chulin. He says Purim Torah that he heard from his Rebbe Dafloa B'Shas Sudas Purim. So why am I telling you this? For 2 reasons. Number one is because it's Talmud the Magid. And the Akdam the Alter Rebbe he writes that the Alter Rebbe, after he wrote the Shulchan Aruch, the Magid said that in Hashemayim they told me that one of my Talmidim has to write Shulchan Aruch. The Alter Rebbe will write it, and the Hafloa will proofread it. And the Alter Rebbe wrote it, and the Hafloa read it, and he said, "Min Hashemayim, the Iskimullah, this is about it." Okay. So the Hafloa said it. So if Hafloa is going to say a joke, and I put him tight, I'd like to share it. He said the Gemara says that Zayda says that a person that shechs a cow with a hot knife, it's a burning knife. So the shaila is maybe the behemoth was wounded before it got shechted. Maybe it's treif
from the hot knife.
From the hot knife. He says no. The answer is it's kosher. Chiduda koidem lelibuna. The sharpness of the knife is so much.
It impacts before.
Before the so gefrekt floor. How do you know that? So he says that because in the Sudas Purim it might have been that the knife was stuck in the turkey or the chol, and it was a burning hot knife. And when Rabbi Shecht Reb Zayda, he felt that chiduda was koidem lelibuna. So he knew that Reb Zayda said it. Rabbi shechted him with a knife v'shas Sudas Purim. Mistama there was some hot turkey or something on the table, and the knife was in the hot chont or in the hot turkey.
Big knife.
This is Mamish Purim Torah. First of all, if he put the chont into the turkey, they would eat it first, and then he'd chef them.
Okay.
Somebody were fighting over a piece of
I was a
turkey.
kashon of drunk mice.
It's an elamai, take elamai. You see that sometimes tzaddikim, the aflor is a tzaddik also. But b'shas Sudas Purim, he said a glad vertel. So the aderes also. It could be that
He said it's tongue in cheek.
Yeah, it doesn't. But lemaisa, takazo, it's a gishmak sugya that this week's parsha is a mekam atchias hamesim in the Torah. That this week's parsha, that all the matnas kuna are going to be given to Adam, but Adam didn't go into Eretz Yisrael. Alamai, we know that the mitzvah Hashem, we're going to make the proper achonas this week. We're going to go to the Tzion HaKodesh, we'll go to the oil, and we'll ask, and for all the things that we need, Zichad Eibishter will give in the last moments of Golos, that will have Bonachayim Zona Reviche in the most spectacular way. And we know that when we ask that the special, we spoke about a Shabbos special tzaddikim, like Reb Nochem Eshgamzo, Reb Chanan Ben Doyse, by them, Nisim were thousands. And for sure this week is a special time to go to the Tzion HaKodesh, but we shouldn't forget that the Hikar thing...
Does the shul go together at a certain time?
It's a great idea.
It's a great idea. If you...
But we can't even agree on a time for Shabbos. How are we going to tell you?
But for sure, if you're in contact with me or Petitz, we'll definitely make sure you get it right, because everyone here is going. So if you want to ride.
But to go as a seaboard.
You know what? Maybe we should go.
I'm saying seriously.
I'm saying
you're right,
seriously, but I
you're
want to
right.
ask you.
You have to go early. You can't go.
I think we should go once and on a night, on a Thursday night maybe. We should go together to oil, and then we should go out with a break.
There.
Yeah, we should bring Fabaisa with us and Lamashka.
Actually, after the Tanya Shir next
After the
door.
Tanya Shir, right?
Or maybe
No, next week will be
Tiny
very
Shir.
hard.
This week will be very hard.
Don't try it.
No, this Thursday night.
So then
But maybe in the
Wednesday
summer.
night. So maybe Wednesday night. Because
Wednesday
Tanya
night.
Shir is Thursday
We should
night.
do it Wednesday night. If everyone is
If it's Shabbos, I think it would be a wonderful thing to go as a seaboard.
You're right. That's right.
Wednesday night would work.
Wednesday night.
How many goros? How many goros?
And the Kohen going to be an Ishmat your father.
Yeah.
How many people would be interested in doing it Wednesday night?
What time?
Which Wednesday?
Huh?
This Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
It's for Chodesh.
It's a Chodesh. Okay. So the Pashtus will do it. Let's do it.